Hey everyone, it's Paul and Wanda. We just want to give you a brief leadership update. Now you see me a lot, probably know a lot of my story, but maybe you don't see Wanda as much on the videos. So Wanda, give us a brief update and your connection to North Park Church.
Well, I've been coming here since 1995, which is forever ago. I met my husband here. We were married here, raised our 2 young adult children here. It just feels like when the search firm asked me to give a few descriptive words of what described North Park to me, one of the words I chose was home, because it just feels like that to me. I've been on staff for just over 15 years, and through various leadership transitions, my role has looked a little different throughout the years. But what hasn't changed is my love for this church and my desire to offer whatever skills I can to serve it.
Yeah, and I've been fortunate enough to work with Wanda for almost 10 years, and we actually get along, which is great. Hey, you know, some of you know that I was a lead pastor at a church in Waterloo for about 10 years before I came to North Park. And when I was a lead pastor there, it was a fairly large church. And as I was taking on that role, I began to realize, you know what would be ideal if it was like a co-leadership model there, where I could use the gifts that I was really more adept at and use those to be able to preach and care. And then if someone else was co-leading with me who could do more of the executive responsibilities, I thought that would be ideal. When I shifted over to North Park, I took over the teaching pastor role, and Matt Eckert was doing the executive lead pastor, and we really played off each other pretty well with that. And then when Matt went on sabbatical, we began as the SLT to really take on the responsibilities as a group. And we found that was really effective to lead as a group. And then Matt resigned and went to another job. And again, as the SLT, we were able to lead through that, which we found really beneficial. And that got us thinking again. When we went through a leadership void last December, I approached the elder board at that time and just said, look, if I can be of help based on my experience, I can step up in the interim in the lead pastor role. But I really want Wanda to be there as a co-lead with me, because I knew what my strengths were, preaching and pastoral care, and I knew the areas that I needed help, which is more what Wanda brought, the executive responsibilities. And so I wanted Wanda to be right there beside me, and the elders really were enthusiastic about that. But honestly, I think for the first 6 months, you still kind of looked at me as the lead and you were like the support. Whereas I said, Wanda, you're the co-lead. But through the last 6 or 8 months, we've seen how the co-leadership model can really work. And so when we began to talk to the elders about, you know, in April 2023, when I retire and we get a new person in that position, what about looking at a co-lead model where there's a co-lead responsible for pastoral and preaching and a co-lead that does the executive things? And they were really enthusiastic about it. They loved the opportunity to discuss it and to look at it. We researched other churches. And we came to a point where our leadership made the decision that going forward in the future, we would have a co-lead model. And Wanda would fill one of the roles of the co-lead in the executive responsibilities. And as you know now from the announcement last week, what we'll be looking for in the search will be someone who takes more the responsibility of teaching and pastoral care. So we're excited about that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell us though, Wanda, what will be the different about this new model? More internal. I know that you'll have more executive and the other person may be more preaching, but internal leadership, what will look different in this new model?
I would say the primary difference is just going to be the shared weight of leadership. And instead of it resting on the shoulders of one person, it'll be equally shared. And the side benefit that comes out of that is just an additional layer of accountability that's built in with having a co-leader. Different from several years ago would be the planning of staff meetings and determining staff development opportunities. And then my energies will be spent a little bit more on future planning and strategic initiatives, which will be new for me, rather than the day-to-day tasks, which just as a sidebar have been the administrative staff has been starting to take on a lot of those, and they're doing, I think you would agree, a fabulous job. So many of these differences are internal, and you as a congregation might not actually see all of them, but
they're important internally.
They are important.
So
and I will be doing the odd update like this, which
Yeah.
I don't normally do. That's different.
So what will stay the same? What will be relatively the same as we move forward?
So I would say we are still going to be using a very collaborative leadership model. That's been something that has been common at North Park for years. There'll still be 2 staff members attending each of the elder board meetings, giving regular reports, but now they will both be accountable to the elders instead of one reporting to the other. So
Which is
that's
good.
new. And strategic planning and dreaming about the future will still be shared with the elders. That's the same, and often that includes the entire senior leadership team. And the co-leads will equally share the responsibility of developing and caring for and supporting all the staff team,
Yeah.
which is a big
That's a big
load.
deal.
Yes,
Yeah, and it's helpful to be shared for sure.
absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to give you the last word. The only thing I'm going to say first is we appreciate your prayers, your ongoing prayers for the search team as we look for this new position. But Wanda, last word. As a
Last word?
co-lead.
So, in a million years, I would not have thought that I was going to be in this position, and it did take me some time to wrap my head around the thought of accepting it or taking it on. But I'm humbled at the thought and the idea that this has even been presented. And so I'm stepping forward, believing that God is going to guide and lead as he has done in the past, and I absolutely trust will do in the future.
Amen. I had to get the last word. Take care. Thanks for being with us.